I know the Mudskipper may no longer be a thing, but I just want to talk about it before we know for sure. In 2020, Bioware released a concept art image for the new Mass Effect game titled Mudskipper. This ship would also feature in the teaser trailer released in December of that year and additional concept art. What can we tell from the design of the Mudskipper about its origin and purpose, and what can we surmise about the state of the galaxy post Mass Effect 3? First, the Mudskipper likely started off as a human military vessel possibly built around the time of the First Contact War. It's a similar color to the camouflage aircraft gray that's used by the US military. The designation XT8 is written in the Latin alphabet and Arabic numerals using the Kuretake font that's also seen on another human vessel, the Normandy. X stands for experimental in the US system of aircraft and rocket designations, most of which were created by or for the military. The two large ports on the back are reminiscent of afterburners on supersonic fighter jets. They are disproportionately large, which could mean that they provide extra speed or power, or, given that the rest of the ship is built like a brick, they are relatively inefficient compared to the sleeker modern engines on the Normandy and the Tempest. The Mudskipper also has two railguns on the top that point aft, so whoever built her expected her to fend off attacks from above and pursuers. What conditions is the Mudskipper prepared for? The Mudskipper has three large and flat feet that resemble snowboards. This indicates that she is expected to land on soft, flat surfaces such as mud or snow, and needs landing gear with large surface area to keep from sinking. The feet are transversely oriented, so they cannot be used as runners. The door appears round and looks as though it physically attaches to a standard-sized umbilicus to form an airtight seal like the one found on Neil Armstrong's spacesuit collar. The Normandy seemed to form an airtight seal using Mass Effect fields rather than physically screwing into the gangway. Maybe the Mudskipper operates in places where there are pressure differences that need to be physically withstood, or maybe Mass Effect technology was rudimentary at the time she was built. The cockpit has physical windows to the front and sides, which is uncommon at the time of the trilogy, as
windows are structural weaknesses.
There are metal braces protecting the front windows, implying that the Mudskipper might drift forward into a wall and needs bumpers to protect the windows. The bottom of the front window undercuts the cockpit so the pilot can see below the ship. This is a design feature seen in crane cabs, helicopters, and submarines. I predict that the Mudskipper is not only capable of landing in wet, marshy, or snowy areas, but is also capable of being used as a submersible vehicle that can land on the ocean floor and attach to underwater bases. How big is the Mudskipper? Looking at the image, I realized I could get a rough estimate of her size by making two assumptions. One, that the bumper in the front had parallel top and bottom edges that could be used for finding the vanishing point, and two, that the door is a circle. By using the perspective ruler in Photoshop and setting the height and width of the door to be equal, the Mudskipper comes out to just over 10 door diameters in length and approximately 2.5 door diameters in height. I arbitrarily set the door height to 10 feet, which would make the Mudskipper approximately 30.6 meters in length. For comparison, the Tempest is 95 meters in length and the Kodiak shuttle is 15 meters in length. So the Mudskipper is approximately the size of 8 shuttles stacked in a 2x2x2 configuration. On this size comparison chart created by Eudarion, the Mudskipper would be about this big. That makes it an awkward middle size that's too large to fit into the Tempest or the original Normandy, but too small to carry a large crew. So, what can we infer about the state of the galaxy based on this? If the protagonist is flying a mothballed Contact War-era ship, this could mean that the newer ships are unusable, possibly because the Destroy ending wiped out the VI and AI technology needed to fly them. Given that we've seen inactive Reapers and Geth, the Destroy ending is looking like the starting point for the next Mass Effect game. Based on the teaser images, it looks as though the Mudskipper crew will be flying around the galaxy visiting abandoned marshes to scavenge non-Reaper technology. As of last year, it's possible the Mudskipper has been replaced by the SFX, so if it doesn't make an appearance tomorrow, all of this speculation is probably for nothing. If the Mudskipper is still in the game as of tomorrow, N7 Day 2022, here's a recap of my guesses. 1. It's a former human military ship built around the time of the First Contact War. 2. It goes to a lot of wet places and may be submersible. 3. It's about the size of 8 Kodiak shuttles. 4. It's been brought out of mothballs because of the Destroy ending. Come back later and tell me if this aged like egg salad.